Cartier, ando con luz propia, sangre nueva. Ajá. Looney, Tunes, what? Money Machine. Ajá.
Yal, yo te hice vibrar, Yal, yo te hice volar y solo me basta una noche que te vi bailando sola, moviendo sola, perreando sola, sola te encontré y
Alright. Yo, welcome back to another Inspector K interview. Today we got two very special guests, friends of mine, fellow producers, and Benja, otherwise known as
Malparida.
and
Netajin.
what's up with y'all, man?
Hello.
Hola.
Hey guys.
Yeah. How have y'all been, man? What y'all been up to?
I'm chilling, man.
Muy bien.
That's fire. Anything special happened today, or just like a regular day?
I don't know. It's been a chill day. Right?
Pretty
Yeah, nah. I mean, it's like the last day of break for me. So, cause I was on like Thanksgiving, I was on a holiday just visiting my family and shit. I know it's like different for y'all, but I'm assuming y'all got to hang out with family and shit. Just like hugging it out as per usual, yeah. But yo,
some
also like
food and I eat some yummy food and listen to music and pretty much.
okay, what you been listening to, bro? What you been listening to?
Right now, Devin Morrison's Bussin' album and like generally just R&B and like old soul stuff, like as of
I
late.
fuck with I fuck with listen. I like that. I like the one track off there. No, and there's like a one interlude as well. That's on there. That shit is. He's one of a kind.
I love Fairy Tale, dude. I think that's one of my favorites.
What about you?
I've been like on SoundCloud digging. That's all I've been doing today, honestly.
Digging just like music or like samples or like a mixture of both.
Yeah, samples.
Yeah, nah. SoundCloud digging was like always confusing to me. Like I was always more on like the YouTube and vinyl side of shit. I don't even.
Yeah.
Like I never heard of like SoundCloud digging until Vize brought it up. Hey yo, speaking of which, Vize is actually recording this shit right now. Shout out to her. But yeah.
Hello, Vice.
Vice is right there.
Everyone who's watching this, say hi to Vice right now.
Say hi to Vice, I will kill you.
Wave to Vice right now, or you'll be hearing from my lawyer.
Nah, facts. But yeah, nah, back to like the SoundCloud digging stuff. How does that work? Like, because I know SoundCloud algorithms is like all over the place. Do you just like create playlists and shit, or what?
Basically, what I do is I just like, I get on a person's SoundCloud and I start stalking their following list, and then I just find a fucking rabbit hole of people to like check their shit out, and yeah, that's how I get stuff. I've been like on some like fucking like plug-in B stuff, like foreign, a lot like all across and stuff. It's been cool.
You didn't bump any of that music past time?
I don't know, like sometimes, but I mostly flip it. Like I feel like most of the music I listen to is just like see what I can flip.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to have like a appreciation for the music like before you.
Nah,
flip it,
definitely. Though. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, shit. If you like stumble across something and like your first instinct is to flip it, that's cool either way because you're appreciating it in your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yo, onto like the meat and potatoes of this, or what I like to call the meat and potatoes of this interview. I just want to know like, who are y'all, and like, what do y'all want the people to know about you guys, and like, where you from? Shit.
Okay. I guess. Hola, me llamo y soy de Colombia y hago beats. Translate that.
It's been dying. No. My name is Netajin. I make beats. I'm from Africa. No, I'm not. I'm from Chile. and I make beats and I put them out and people like them and so do I, and I'm happy.
How long have y'all been
Sick.
making beats for?
I've been making beats for about fucking 11 years. Since like 2013. Like I was like 11 when I started out on FL Studio, and yeah.
For me,
What door are you on now?
I'm 22.
What about you, Benja?
For me, I was around during when Vaporwave was popping off. It's been a long time, so I'd estimate like about 2017 maybe. I really wanted to make stuff like that, and then I went on to FL Studio, and now we're here.
Yeah. And I just want to know, like, what do you guys like? What's your musical background, like, just both of you? Like, when you grow up listening, like, how did you, I guess, find your way into making the stuff that you make now?
Who goes first?
You go first.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, I'm from Colombia, and the kind of shit that like my dad and like my mom would listen to, or like my aunts and uncles. Like more old school stuff, like salsa, vallenato, or like like ballads and stuff, like 80s pop. Like my mom really liked 80s pop, but honestly, like I don't know, like I listen to some of these things sometimes, but like being that I'm like I'm younger and stuff. I have an older sister, and like she was like really listening to like reggaeton when it was like first coming up, what I'm saying, like when it was like getting popular in Colombia and stuff. And yeah, basically like every time she played reggaeton on either like the computer, she had like CDs burned with them and shit, like multiple mixes of it. And she also had mixes of like 2000s music of any sort. She had like back then she had like pop, god damn it, she had pop, R&B, rock, like fucking that, like I remember she had like that kind of stuff. She actually had a Christina Aguilera CD and shit, and she had a fucking CD filled with like music videos. She had like a fucking Ditto, however you say it, Ditto music video. I remember that shit. She had, she used to like play a lot of MTV and VH1, and like shit like Justin Timberlake, fucking Beyonce, yeah, like Paramore, Evanescence and shit. Yeah, that's like the kind of stuff that she like was listening to, and I was listening to it, and I really like loved to like listen to like reggaeton and stuff. And she also like back then like YouTube was still new. It was like around 2005, 2006. I remember a little bit of that, but like before that shit, it was like Yahoo videos. I remember she was showing me fucking Eminem and 50 Cent and stuff. Like I think that might have been like my first exposure to rap, by the way. And yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of had like a rich musical background, just judging off it, like very, very versatile in a sense. Cause like
Yeah.
And it sounds like your sister really put you onto a lot of shit too. So that's hella cool.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the areyetee, where he said that his dad like put him into a bunch of hip hop shit when he was like a little kid. So this is hella cool to see, I guess, like families passing down their tastes onto like, I don't want to say generations because that sounds corny, but it's just like, this is hella cool either. Just putting it lightly, I guess.
No, absolutely. It's not corny though, but yeah, that's true. That's very cool. That like that gets passed down through generations and shit. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Sure. What about you, Benja?
Well, for me, it was my family generally listened to like 70s ballads. Like it was kind of built on like soul, like ballads, and like just a lot of 70s stuff in general, like rock and roll, like Elvis. And then when I really got into music, I gotta owe it all to like Michael Jackson, kind of, because I think that's my like very earliest memory of listening to music, like in general. And
That's real.
I think I found out about hip hop before Vaporwave, so I think that might have helped like a lot in like development in my music tastes. And I listened to like Nas, DJ Premier, etc. And then I went on to discover Macintosh Plus, like a few of the classics like Internet Club, Saint Pepsi, etc. And then
Yeah.
I went on to make stuff like that on my old busted up Sony Vegas torrent, and I went on to use FL Studio to make feature funk and put it out on SoundCloud.
Use your funk. That's the fucking genre name I haven't heard since like 2010. Crazy.
It was very even I almost forgot about it. It's so like it's so buried deep in my brain, but you know, after my my vaporwave phase, I discovered lo-fi hip hop. I listened to Beside You at first, then I went on to like DiBiase probably, and then I was like, dude, like I just discovered a whole new taste of music, and so like I started up my first beat tape. You know, it's like smooth sailing from there, and then after that, I discovered all my deepest friends that I hold very near and dear to my heart to this day, and it's history. It's history now, from in the making. You know what I mean? You don't understand, man.
Yeah.
And
I know what you're saying.
yeah, and
God bless.
if I left something out, I'll probably like edit it in or something. I don't know, but that's my history as far as I can remember. I think there's probably more, but you know what it is.
And yeah, I'm gonna touch on a lot of that stuff later, but it's just really interesting how like you went from bumping like soul shit to vaporwave stuff, because obviously vaporwave samples a bunch of soul stuff, but I just want to know, because you said like 70s ballads and stuff, were you bumping like any other like 80s soul stuff outside of like Michael Jackson's like prime shit?
Oh yes, definitely. I've listened to the reason why I'm really into like obscure soul stuff is like because I used to listen to a lot of that stuff back in the day when I was like 10. So like it makes me feel really happy when I find more that it's just like sitting in the vaults of old Discogs uploads. Sorry, go on.
It's like it's like a sense of euphoria.
Yeah, definitely. Because you're revisiting something from the past that's like not noticed by a lot of people. It feels like special. You know what I mean? It's like a bar of gold, like found like underneath the ground or something. Like you're searching for like golden pennies on the beach with that little machine. It feels like that, pretty much.
Yeah, like the metal detectors and shit. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like finding, it's basically not reviving it, but it's finding a sample and like putting it into a beat. It's like repurposing it.
Yeah. You're like making a whole new thing out of it. It feels so good. It's like it feels so good to express that kind of. That's why hip hop is so like cool to me. That's why I hold it very near to my heart. It sounds corny, but it's true, man.
It's not corny, motherfucker.
Well,
It's
I
not-
think it sounds
it's not-
corny.
Alright.
Can't see the
You are
middle
so you are so cool. Okay, don't
Can't-
call yourself
can't see the
corny,
middle.
please.
Oh.
Quake
No,
death
yeah.
sound.
Ooh. That's
Nah, but since you have like DB and like Beside You and lo-fi hip hop, by the way, I just want you to explain to us like your history with like beats and stuff and lo-fi hip hop. Is this is no. Hear me out, bro. Hear me out. Because this is
No,
like,
I will respond. I'm just joking.
I know. I'm just saying because like we've talked about that shit in like private a lot, so it'd be cool if you could like go in depth about your history with them, how you got to the point you're at now, type shit.
Yeah. Okay. Can I start from like from the Big Bang, sort of?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so it all started when I actually I guess it's just like I don't know how much time I can take just like talking about this topic. That's the thing. So I don't know what you think, Inspector.
I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, you could just like give us a summary of it, because obviously, if you just talked about like everything that happened in there, that's just gonna take like what 2-3 hours.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know where to start, but I guess okay. Back when I was like about like 11, I guess, when I started making beats, because I really liked 90s hip hop. I started getting into it and stuff. Like I love stuff like DJ Premier, Havoc, Areza, and Odd Future, because I heard him on Saints Row 3. I heard Tyler Yonkers on that game, and I was just like very into that, and I started getting into the whole beat stuff. I really, I liked the how those beats felt, and like the whole mood and stuff. It was just really cool to me. So that's how I started making beats, and okay, blah blah blah, and you saw like Earl Sweatshirt. Also, he was making beats and stuff. I really liked that stuff, and I was just like looking into anything that was like that had to do anything with him, features or production, discography, whatever. And eventually I found like Dash and Wretch, because he produced like a track for them, and like Dash Wales, I think. No, Vize. Yeah. Vize is the name of the tape, and the song is called Whale or something, right? And it's like with AB Soul and Wretch. Yeah, and Earl produced that. So that's how I started, I started getting into like that kind of like underground, like back then in like 2010s, 13, 2015, 14 stuff. I started getting into that stuff, and basically, I would listen to their stuff, and those two dudes, Dash and Rest, they started putting out more projects and stuff. Also, I was like into like whatever like had to do with Earl and Vince Staples. So and Vince Staples was associated with a dude. His name is Aston Matthews, and like I checked like one of his tracks, and one of the tracks is called Chapo, and it's produced by this dude called HNIC.
HNIC.
AKA Heaven's Next Ill Child. And basically like I started loving that dude's beats, and he would produce for like Aston and like Dash and Wretch, and I was just like in 2015 I was just like kind of obsessed with his stuff. Like he was, put stuff on SoundCloud, put stuff on Audio Mag, Bandcamp, whatever, and like basically I was just keeping up with everything he's done. And in his SoundCloud, he made this project in like 2016, and I made my first SoundCloud in 2015, but I literally knew nobody. I knew no beat makers like out there in the internet other than HNIC. Like I had no idea who the fuck Knowledge or Olive or Twami or nobody at that time besides nothing. I just knew HNIC, and HNIC, he put out a project called God and Politics in 2016, and there was a dude that he collabed with in that tape, and his name was Eli. And basically this Eli dude, he was associated with the whole lo-fi hip-hop thing going at the time, which I found out through him. And basically, like, I would post some of my beats back then. Like, they were very bad. I didn't use samples at that time, but I uploaded my stuff, and like eventually I started sampling. And one time I did a fucking Steven Universe flip. And for some reason, I was, I was like, I guess I must have followed the Eli dude and stuff. And he fucking caught like attention of the beat I made. He liked it and started following me. Started talking to me like, "Oh, that beat is cool." And I was like, "Oh, hi, thank you," and stuff. So we started like talking, on like Skype, but I don't remember. We just talked, but I don't remember like what we wouldn't like talk about. But whatever. So he was associated with this dude called Street Low Fighter, who was back in the day. He was doing like that kind of like SP202, SP404 lo-fi kind of stuff. And and the guy also somehow caught light of what I was uploading. He was like a really nice guy because my beats were really bad, but for some reason he followed me. And basically I started like listening to the shit that they had. I was like, oh my god, this is cool. And Street Low Fighter, he had like on his SoundCloud bio something about like lo-fi hip hop, or like something about Chatsy. So eventually, one thing leads to another, I guess, and I came across the lo-fi hip hop Chatsy. I had no idea about no community or no forums or no beside you, nothing. I just I saw that, and it was a Chatsy. And for those who don't know, it's kind of like a chat thing, like a retro kind of website chat thingy. And it's just like it looks really old and stuff, and that's kind of like the appeal. I don't even know if it still exists, but basically, yeah, that was like the shit that they was using before Discord. And it was like something like you could pay for. You pay for it and you get some premium shit. You can put gifts as the backgrounds of the survey you making or whatever. You had to pay for that. So okay, I come across it, and then it's password protected. So it turns out that the GIF and the background GIF and that shit is a SP404. I didn't even know what the fuck that was, but it said, what I'm saying, like SP404 says SP404 right there, and I just saw that and I was like, oh, like what could be the password? And I type SP404, and out of nowhere, I'm in that fucking chat, and that's how I joined. And I remember a lot of people in there, and I was just like really new to it, like concepts that I didn't really understand, like beat battling. Started like meeting a bunch of like people and stuff, like who would like throughout the time I was there, I was like very obsessed, like I want to feel validated in here, but I didn't even know how to speak English properly. And it was like I was like very awkward and stuff. I was like, what, fucking 13, 14 something. Yeah, 13 when I first joined. But yeah, I was in that whole thing. And eventually, like, I started getting better at beats as I kept being in that community. But a lot of stuff I did learn in there, but a lot of ideals I kind of just like started sticking with them and shit. And it just took me to all the way to like I met like in 2017, a year later. I didn't really make friends that year in 2016 when I joined that thing. I was just there making stuff and regularly, like, saying Deuce would clown me and shit for I don't know. They just clown me because I was young and dumb and stuff. But eventually in 2017 is when Discord, the lo-fi hip hop Discord, got made. And they already had that old, I got into that whole forum shit. They had that thing. They used to have compilations in there. I'm in some of those compilations. Please don't check them out.
I was just gonna ask, just like,
I don't care. Check it out if you want.
Yeah. Because you used to go by like another name. It was like Spooky Ghost or some shit, or like Spooky.
Yeah. I used to go under, like, back then I used to go under. First, I was like Ghostface, and then Paolo, and then Spooky Ghost, whatever. I was the Spooky Ghost back then, and and eventually just Spooky. And people, it's funny because people always mistype my name. Like, instead of 2 Y's, it would be 2 K's. That was funny, but yeah. So eventually, in 2017. New people started joining the community, and that's when I started making friends. Now, I don't know if I should mention who they are. But
Yeah.
It's best not
kind of
to.
it's kind of tricky to get on it. But
It's really like dicey, especially with like considering who these like people are.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's how I made
I'm just
my
leaving
first.
it
Yeah, and yeah, basically, like I made friends with those two. I made friends with two dudes particularly, and one of them introduced me to a lot of stuff. He introduced me to fucking Pace Undo, Charlie and B Maker. He introduced me to like Goss Connect, you know, stuff like Twami and Knowledge, and introduced me to Actor. One of the dudes that I looked up to, you know, because in the lo-fi hip hop thing, there was this group of dudes, you know what I'm saying? They was kind of like the elite of the community in a way. So it was like the friend circle, the hierarchy, and yeah, these niggas is cooler than everybody else and shit. And that's how everybody saw it. And I was, I really looked up to the shit they did. I was just like, oh man, I want to sound like that. I want to get better. So like those dudes be like, this dude's beat is cool. Just looking for that whole validation and approval. But I blanked out. Anyways, they whole thing with like, over compressed beats and like, the whole drums and shit. These dudes be looking up to shit like Fuster Scope in the goddamn LA beat scene and shit. And they just like they want to get into that whole circle and shit, or just like or stuff like the low bass, like what's the name of that shit? Team Canada, like Cope, Antigy, DP,
like that. Yeah, like the SP forums.
Yeah, exactly. A lot. It's something I forgot too. SP forum. These dudes was all over that shit. Really, fanatics of that shit, and So I just start fucking with all of that. But okay, past the lo-fi talk, like I said, I got introduced to Actor, and I was like really liking that stuff. And then one of those dudes that I looked up to, realized I just went on a tangent, but those dudes like they reposted a Keydro on SoundCloud, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is really different. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole the whole sound that they had on and stuff. It was like a Trash Supply Upload, another one of those collectives that people looked up to back in the day. Like like that, and that's it. Like that, like the thing, like that's like my first exposure to like whatever. Okay, the whole soul hop thing. That's basically like my first exposure to that. And back in the lo-fi things, those dudes used to talk about this dude called Hansel, and how his drums was crazy. One time we was beat battling, and some of them was talking, oh yo, those drums is crazy, just like this Hansel dude. And one time I gave like his profile like a little glance, and I didn't really listen to nothing, but I would later come to regret that. But anyways, during my whole 2017 period, some dude followed me, and he had like very low followers. His name is Dwell. Okay, and this and okay, yeah, I'm about to get on it. See, this Dwell dude had like not too many followers, but he was following me, and I checked this shit. I really liked it. It was really cool. Like I actually came across it like earlier, right? But and I really liked it, but some months later, and I come across it again, and it's like his new shit and stuff. Listening to it, and it's like, oh, this is really fucking cool. And then it turns out like he had this whole like in his bio, he got a fucking collective called Artwork Collective, and some other. He was also part of another collective called Agents. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. Artwork. So I check it, and it's a collective, and
Stack.
It has a bunch of people. It's like the Hansel dude who at the time I discovered this collective, he changed his name from he originally was Kaiju, then he was Hansel, and then he was Asoth. And by when he reached Asoth, his whole SoundCloud was deleted. but there was some uploads that of stuff that he had like on like because Gods Connect made an edit of him like a Brandy remix.
Yeah.
And there was multiple beats and dudes from the community that I was saying, the lo-fi hip hop community, they was fucking with his stuff and they archived some of it. But yeah, okay, so Ace Off, and then Santa Jim, bro, fucking on the Civic, bro.
Honda.
Fuck.
Shout out to Honda. Yeah, Farragut was involved with them too.
Farragut, yeah, he was involved with he was on the Ivor Collective, on Ivor compilation, the first compilation they made. Ace Off hit that because Ace Off had a couple dudes he knew, and invited him to be in a compilation. Dudes like Farragut, fucking U4, fucking what's his name, Cubes, Hagino, yeah, that's right.
Shout out to Cubes too, bro. Nah, what's crazy? You brought that compilation up. How the fuck did they get like they got like Frank Nitty on like a beat by as Ace and Hagino, which I thought was crazy. That shit is nuts. Because I've been like I was just saying, I listened to like Frank Nitty for ages and like Dilla and stuff. So just to see him on like a track from like by people from like this like I guess Little Bo, shit was so fucking shocking to me. But I mean it makes sense though because it's like Detroit and shit.
Yeah, you've been talking about for a while lately. Yeah, the whole thing. I don't remember quite. Okay, Ewing was also in that collective. Obviously, Dwell, who later on went to be Chusei, and now his name is Orderly, and he just fucking lost in the space and shit. I want people to check his shit out. But yeah, that's definite. That dude. Without that dude, I would not be here, and especially without fucking Under, I would not be here without Under Civic, bro. And who else was in that collective? Satsum. Max Melanin used to be in that collective as well, but by the time I discovered he wasn't part of it no more. But yeah, basically, that collective is how I fell in love with that whole style, really.
Right.
Especially on the like and Synergym too. Like and one of the beats of Ace that Ace Off made, bro. Ace Off Daydream. Or like Baby Be Mine, bro, those fucking beats on the Civic sometimes. Synergym Prophetic Mysticism and shit, the one in the Ivor compilation. And also on the back then, in that time period, he made a compilation of like his whole little label he had going on with some other dude who turned out to be a bum ass. And it was like it was Tracking Waves, exactly. And the name of the compilation was Funk WAV, Funk Wow.
Yeah, Funk Wave.
Yeah, Funk Wave. And there was a bunch of dudes like that. It was this dude, Wisdom, also known as Kami or Kame. I don't know. I say Kame. I say Kami. But yeah, and this dude, he fucking DM'd me on SoundCloud. I have no fucking idea how you found me, but he DM'd me on SoundCloud like, yo, let's collab. And this is during all the time I started like finding all of that stuff, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's collab. And I peeked out, he had like fucking collabs with a Kedro, Not Ever Me and shit. Had a bunch of collabs with those dudes, and I was like, oh yeah, this crazy. And I collabed with him.
Yeah, Joe with Not Ever Me. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, he collided with Not Even Me. Yeah, he was colliding with everybody back then, man. Like, and also like somebody else from that whole, like when I started like finding all of that stuff, was like late 2017 when I started getting into all of that November, December type stuff. And this dude called Stream Dogs, he had like fucking less than 100 followers back then. His shit was fire as fuck. He had 2 beats. One was What's Up. One of them was Nate What's Up, and the other I forgot the name, but I fucking love that beat. And yeah, that was like basically like those dudes. I DM'd Dogs to collab. He said yeah, like we collabed and stuff. And around that time, 2017, late 2017, I DM a bunch of people from that scene. I DM Synergym, I DM fucking Dwell, I DM'd Akidro, I DM, I was trying to collab with like everybody when I first came. I remember like my first like soul high beat that I ever made, when that whole thing like was my interest, and like vapor high was also like a term they use because it was like a lot of like vaporwave influence in their whole stuff, like the way they mixed it and all, and the aesthetics. I was just like, yeah, vapor hop and shit, and went okay. I posted my first beat, and that was like that kind of style inspired by all that. And yo, Sanogen reposted that shit. I was like, damn. And Under Civic followed me. ASOS followed me. Sanogen followed me. I was like, damn. Chuse was following me too. I was just like so stoked with that, you know. Dogs also followed me. Like all of that shit was just really cool because I my interest. I wasn't like being whatever they had going on the lo-fi hip hop thing, and then see all of that. Because back then, like in that lo-fi hip hop thing, like that's when shit started transitioning from like the whole SP forums compressed beat thing to the whole chill hop thing that they got going on now that basically overtook it. And like now whenever somebody say lo-fi, they think of that shit 24/7 lo-fi radio, chill beats to study to whatever fuck. And that's like when they started getting into all of that. And I mean, personally, I don't give a fuck about that, but and lo-fi hip-hop community, they all had that fucking like they started having all that resentment with that whole thing going on. They felt like, we got colonized, we got fucking sound got gentrified, whatever.
They colonized that shit themselves.
That's exactly, that's the funny part. That's the funny part.
Exactly.
But
that sound
like,
started with them. But that's for another day, though.
Yeah, that's facts, man. But yeah, that's how I basically got into it. Like the biggest reason why I really make that shit is eyewear. And those dudes need so much fucking recognition. Those dudes the reason why anybody in here, bro. Like give those dudes the flowers they deserve. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was like Olive, bro, because he's like the whole pioneer of this shit, and like Twami and Knowledge, and I know what you might say about that dude, but but I didn't really listen to their shit that much. I listened to their shit in Docs Connect, the stuff that they had to, but I never really dig into what they really did back then in the band campus. Like I didn't really dig it, but what I knew was the people I was influenced by. I knew they was influenced by all of those dudes, but I kind of just for some reason just didn't want to like listen to it. For some reason I listened to it like way years later, just a year ago, 2023 was when I decided to go to the discographies, and I really understood like, yeah, they really birthed that shit. And fucking Case, how you say his name? Case? KVZ. Yeah, it's David Case. Strange. Yeah. And those influences too, like Fussoscope, LA beat related dudes on set, like fucking Sleepy Eyes, fucking Aru2.
Yo, shout out to Sleepy Eyes. Fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Those dudes was also, and Socro. Yeah, and yeah, that shit was.
Yeah, Socro. Yeah, Socro, Bobito Pickles, cause you brought up Socro up. They did like a split back in the day. That shit.
Yeah.
That shit was fire.
Yeah, facts. I remember that.
As well.
Funny thing about Bobito Pickles, to one of the dudes I was looking up to back then in the whole lo-fi thing, they reposted a track. There was Bobito Pickles, which I already had seen the name of before. Bobito Pickles and Flossin', and that's the first time I ever seen Flossin', by the way. That is when I got hooked up to his shit, but that's like the first time I seen because he collabed with Bobito back then. Yeah.
Shout out to Flossin'.
Shout out to Flossin', yo.
Yeah, cause brought up like I get the whole Vaporwave. I want to say like, cause he said that like they had influenced like that whole little scene at that time. It had like sort of Vaporwave influence. And Benji, you brought up how you used to like make Vaporwave and stuff. So I just want to know how like you came from like Vaporwave and like started making the shit you do now. And then after that, I kind of want to know how like you two met and stuff, and like how y'all first collabed and shit.
That we'd have to go all the way back to when I first uploaded like my first ever track, cause my first ever track was I think it was like a it was like sampling that one album with the animal with the hat on. It was like an ocean track or something, the Rippingtons, I think. And then I did my beat tape, which I stopped, and I think Roy reposted, Actually, I think Roy just followed me first, and then I saw like later down the line posted it. Then it's like I think Sino Jam was on that. Like all the other people were on that too, and I was like, wow, like what's going on? And like way like later when I started getting like actually good at beat making, on my Discord, and I wouldn't be at that stage without Roy, because Roy, that was the first ever person I've ever met from that scene. I would like give that guy his flowers as well.
Absolutely, man.
That guy like
Absolutely.
started it all like today. You know what I mean? He's like a part of history. So
Facts.
I think I might have put my Discord in my SoundCloud bio, or Roy might have given it to. I'm not sure, but from then onwards, added me on Discord. I was like, what? Like, how do you find me? Oh yeah, I have it on my bio, and added him, and he was like, yo man, I like this track you made from the beat tape. Let's collab, and it's like, yo, let's do it, man. And a lot of it is crazy, and a little bit more trivia about the Vaporwave part, because I know you asked about that.
Mhm.
It was I think it was Actor that I found like way before. Like during the lo-fi thing, Actor was the first one I've heard from the soul hop / vapor hop whatever scene, and I was like, this is such a new thing to me. So like, this is like, I wanted to make something like that, and then there you go, I got something like that going. And then when I saw Roy following me, I saw he made that kind of stuff too, but he flipped house instead, and I thought that was so cool. So I gave him a follow, and then a lot of it is just like, is growing. You know what I mean? It all grew from there. Basically, I met all the Synergem people. That sounds so mean.
No.
The Avir Collective and those people, you know I'm talking about, those people, and
Yeah, like I weird.
yeah, Avir, and the set of friends that shall not be named, and
Oh,
and
man.
and Elijah, and yeah, it was just it's crazy, like experiencing all that and like remembering it. You know, it's like we come so far. It's kind of nuts, but yeah,
Definitely.
that's my whole thing. That's how I got into here, more in depth.
Yeah, so like you brought up how like you and first collabed, and obviously because like you guys have known each other since like what, 2018, 2019?
Yeah,
Or no,
2018.
2018. Yeah, 2018.
Yo,
That's like 6 years worth of history right there.
can I
So I
can
just
I
want
add
to
something with that?
Yeah,
what's up?
Yo, I remember the first time I saw like Banjo SoundCloud. His name was Ridge, and this nigga URL was like Yoda Gaming or something. His profile picture was a Ridge Racer screenshot. I remember that.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like the
Forgot
first
to
time I ever
mention
seen you.
Yeah.
My
Oh, man.
gosh.
Gotta talk about all that composer's history. We ain't mentioned Ethan Bart yet, bro.
Oh my
Vital,
gosh.
No,
vital piece
that
of
is true.
Dude, I can't forget that guy's like actually the goat. Dude, his whole style is so crazy. I also
Silas.
Silas and Swex, Eagle Seed. Dude, that guy like kind of
Yeah.
made me. Eagle Seed, Ethan Bart, and Silas. Yeah, dude, those are so like. Shout out to them truly, because they got it going on, man, for real.
And for y'all who don't know what we're talking about, there's this one collect back in the day. It's called Composers. CMPRZ, I'm pretty sure. I think I'm missing like 1 or 2 letters. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, it was a little collective thing that they had going on back then. They put out one compilation tape and like a bunch of singles on SoundCloud that you can still find. I'm pretty sure it's still up. But yeah, that shit was stacked. Oh yeah, Honda was in there too, wasn't he? And like
Yeah, he was
Space-
there. Yeah.
Space was there
he
too.
was
Shout
there.
out to Space, by the way. Shout out to Texas, bro. Shout out to Los Angeles while I'm at it. But yeah, nah. Yeah, it was like a big collective. It was historical. I mean, I wasn't there for it, but like, just
I
based on
can
like,
I can give like a little summary about it. Like I try to be quick with it, I guess.
yeah,
You
go
know?
ahead, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
so
course.
composers, Ethan Bart, used to also make lo-fi, but he wasn't from like the whole lo-fi hip hop scene like I was. No, he wasn't on some like he was associated with some other dudes, really more chill people, not that fucking toxic ass, cesspool ass shit. And he was making all that lo-fi shit, and then he came across the whole soul hop thing. He started really fucking with it, and he started making that shit. Was fucking fire at it, man. And basically, people started contacting each other. Common contacted me. I already hit on the up, with, collab with dogs and stuff. And basically, Ethan had the idea of making a collective. So he invited a lot of people. As you know what I'm saying, like some of the names I can mention, it's like retrospect them, the fucking Soul Hop Russians. He fucking invited. Fucking yeah, Skymet. I don't think Skymet wasn't composers, but he was like, he was really associated with Onda during that time, and they invited a dude called Vantage, who I had seen before, like a year earlier, just like out of like just chance, I guess. Shit, he was making shit like like vaporwavy kind of stuff. It was like really saturated, distorted kind of shit, like, and casting. Like that's a dude that was also like a very like big influence back in the day. Casting, making vaporwavy kind of stuff, vapor hop. That's how they, they went with it, vapor hop. Alarms, one of the other Russians and shit. You could just talk about that shit all day. I'm not, but like yeah, composers. Made that collective. Dogs was in it, Onda was in it. Kane was in it. Fucking, me, I was in it. I asked some people to, I told some people about it. They joined, but unfortunately, their names that I shall not name. I kind of want to name them in a way, but fuck it, man, too much.
It ain't worth it.
Fucking yeah, yeah. Fuck.
It ain't worth your time at all, bro.
You're dust in the Sahara dust.
I'm just saying.
Compared to us.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, man. I was basically the goddamn second in command for composers, because like Ethan, he was recruiting everybody. He was hitting up everybody. Like yeah, he hit up a lot of dudes. Like hit some dudes from the agents thing. It was really fucking with them. With that whole thing, because they was first and doing all of that. Eventually, they made the collective, man. The compilation, the first compilation, the only compilation they ever made. And basically, yeah, that shit was like, first, you had, like when it comes to like community, the whole like scene, like the whole soul hop scene, and like the community side of it, because you had those dudes before us, the Russians, man. What I'm saying, Olive, actor, and I feel like the Russians is the ones that had like the most like community back then when it first started. Like they was all like related with each other, and then yeah, Ivor, of course, and then then is when hit composers. Like to me, like that's like the next major milestone for the whole shit. And yeah, man, like that tape was like definitely like a landmark,
Definitely.
Yeah. And the final thing I got to add, sorry. That's when Eli came up. That's the first time Eli came up about, also known as Resident, known as Gradio Burger Master. What I'm saying? I don't remember who found him. He was doing audio 2 shit. He was already familiar with Ego C back then. And I don't remember like who first it was, it could have been Ethan, could have been Kane or Dogs, but yeah, they like they found this shit, reposted it. He was in composers, and back then this nigga did not talk to nobody, and the first time he ever said something was dude who happened to be some of the people I knew from way before back then on a composer server. Dude was like, yeah, I want to play Fortnite with my brother, and then he like added everybody. And then Eli's like, man, shut up. First words he ever said.
That's
So real,
fucking
yeah.
crazy.
But yeah, man. Eli, definitely, man. And Roy, no doubt.
Exactly.
Facts, bro. Shout out to him. But yeah, nah, because you brought up like landmark tapes, and since this is an interview with you and Ben, I had to bring up Shallow Dreams because that was like a massive.
my
that was a
God.
big thing for a little bit, or like it's still a big deal even now. Because I mean that paved the way for a lot of the shit that you hear nowadays within this scene. So I just want to know like how that came about and like thought processes behind like that, like Moonless Nights and shit. And also, if you want, you could talk about like Benja and Lane because I know that was like your first major collaboration as well.
Yeah, sure. Yo, look, I feel like for we get into like the whole thing on how we ended up on those kind of like style, like aesthetic imagery kind of shit, we gotta talk about Locos, bro. We gotta
Yeah.
talk about Locos.
That
for,
is
like,
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And,
So
you two can like interject with each other. By the way, like one of you ain't gotta like
Facts.
talk throughout the whole thing.
yeah, facts. Okay, so composers, it was a pretty short-lived collective. Not gonna lie to you. Say they make that fucking we made that compilation. Then a little bit of singles. Ethan invited some other people to be in a collective, but they never really got to do anything with it because the collective just kind of ceased to be. And that's like around at that time we already talking 2019. And by that time it's like when I really became good friends with Benja, Eli, and Roy. Happened to so be like I made a group chat because I had some idea like I was really fucking because they was new. Benja and Roy, they was new. Benja can talk to you better about that if you want to talk about it. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, again, I remember some parts clearly. So I think it was because we all wanted to make a help with a project. I think, and then like we talking to each other was like so enjoyable that we just like kept doing it until we became like very good friends, and like that kind of burst the vibe, dude. If you think of it.
Yeah, bro.
Really did.
Yeah, man. We made that whole, we made the group chat. We became really good friends, like naturally, and like basically like the shit that we was, doing, it all kind of like what complemented
Yeah.
each other, like what we was going for. And I had more experience than them in a way, because I was already like I was kind of known back then. Like my alias was 2K2, and that Adventures. Well, yeah, like we was doing all of that stuff, and we never really like actually made like a like much with the whole idea of like the whole collaboration of us four. We kind of didn't, but we was like built upon each other's shit. Like we influenced each other, bro. And like, yo, I gotta talk about something right quick. Yo, Benja, bro, when this dude first came on, he was, he started getting nice and shit. And like in all of a fucking sudden, in like a week, this dude like fucking does the craziest shit, and he fucking made fucking Path of Dreams, man. I gotta talk about that. I'm sorry, man. That shit was revolutionary. Like the fucking drums you did for that shit, the percussion. Jesus.
I can vouch. As somebody who was like heard that tape, I can vouch.
That shit was fucking. That shit was like some evolution shit right there, bro. Like you gotta accept that.
A funny story about that tape, or actually two funny. Like the tape took so long to finish. I was doing it ever since I got my computer upgraded to Windows 7 to wait, actually no what? That's way later. I'm tripping. I was working on that tape for so long that it was midway through the production. The reason why it was taking so long because I was upgrading literally my PC. It couldn't handle the tape being so big. So I did that, and another period is when I was really sad. I was crying one of the beats, and I was doing the beat while crying.
Shit
It
is
was-
legendary, bro.
I
I
had
don't know
like
what
Nah,
you
that's-
talking about.
That's the vibe.
Yeah.
That's the vibe, though.
I had journeys with that tape, dude. Wait, do you really know what beat I was like crying to? I forgot.
Wasn't it called Yeah?
Yeah, I think so actually. It
Bro,
might have been
I
it.
just know which beat it is. I know which beat it is. You
Yeah.
told me about that shit. It's crazy because like that beat. That's probably my favorite beat in that tape. Yeah, but yeah, man.
Makes sense.
So yeah, man. We was in the whole group chat time went on the whole 2019. We was whole doing that thing, man. Just working on like the whole thing, and in the side we had locals because like composers by then, like I said, already ended. So I had like, oh man, I want to make a collective myself. Like I want to lead it. So I invited a lot of people that was from composers and a lot of people that I knew that outside of that shit. Some of them was from lo-fi, and some of them was some people that I just like came across on SoundCloud during the time. Some of them Auntie, shout out to Auntie and Flossing,
Safine, so
yeah. So, he joined later though, but yeah, Safine, so definitely.
Dudeface.
No, Dudeface wasn't in local. Dudeface got invited to composers, but he never did anything in that
Oh.
bitch.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I was just saying because his name was like on the track list type shit. But yeah.
Yeah, he was on Lukumi, and like he was
Yeah.
he was cool with comic because like I the first we ever heard about Dudeface, and that dude's fucking crazy. I also got to talk about Ymello because Ymello is like very like from that whole sound and shit, like that shit also influenced the fuck out of us, or at least me. Like, but yeah, like Dudeface, the first we ever heard about was a collab he made with Kame, and it's called what, Galactic Mind, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
And yeah, man, that and yeah, so Dudeface, bro, nobody knew him neither. Like he was like fucking mysterious, came out of nowhere, and his shit was just insane. But yeah, Ethan invited him to composers, but unfortunately, it was after. I think it was after the whole compilation, and he just never did anything for that project. But yeah, some dude that needed worth mentioning, man, and Ymello definitely.
shout out to Ymello.
We did invite Ymello. Ymello was on locals. I just because Ymello was like cool with Ethan Bart. Yeah, but like how I said, like, because we gonna get to the whole Benja and Lane Shallow Dreams, right? So in locals, like I had to I tended to have like a aesthetic sense to yeah, man. So my aesthetic sense was more some you could say edgy. I don't look at it like edgy, like, but instead it's like more dark stuff or something, like more like what, like juxtaposition. A lot of that shit to me is juxtaposition. So it could be some really like something kind of like off-putting or disturbing. Like I always kind of like that kind of stuff in like my cover arts and my aesthetics and all that imagery and shit. Or like or something like the beat could have like some like very cute, saying, like wholesome kind of picture, saying, some girly stuff, and you hit play on the beat and it's just fucking like the whole opposite. Saying, like some shit that you wouldn't expect. And a lot of that shit, I was into all of that for the style that I implemented on like the whole locals, and I was like kind of doing for myself already. A big influence into that whole like sense of the shit, man.
Yeah.
It's Pupinia Stewart, man. I gotta talk about Pupinia Stewart.
Shout out Pupinia Stewart.
Shout out Pupinia Stewart, man. I used to have fucking crush on Pupinia Stewart when I was like 14, man, 15 or something, man. Yeah, man. But yeah, like that whole like sense of like comedy, you could say, or like the whole the irony, satire shit. And I felt like that a lot comes from Pupinia Stewart, like me being a fan of that whole shit. And yeah, and HNIC, like HNIC and Pupinia Stewart, basically like my biggest influences in like that kind of like in that kind of sense, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, but like, yeah, fucking, yeah, locals, had a more more marked kind of aesthetics and shit, and the projects like shit like Hero Zero, and whatever, and yeah, so I just kept going into that whole thing, kept developing like my whole sense of like identity in that sense. Like I feel like that really started like with Kiro Zero and Locos. Like for me, like I was already like with my whole quirks and shit, you could say back then, but with those two things, I felt in 2019, especially when I was around like Eli Benjaroy, like that heavy, what I'm saying, like I started developing that side of me more, and it really translated into what it became, right? So yeah, like
can I
so yeah.
interject for a little bit? Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I feel like those tapes, the imagery of those tapes, like kind of like burst like the imagery for like a lot of current tapes, because a lot of the stuff that's come out like today, like it's influenced by that kind of vibe, like girl hop, as some will call it, and like they always use like cute girls on the cover, and like it's kind of crazy, like seeing all that like happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts. No question. So yeah, man. Like, okay, 2020 hit. I did Bleak, which is a project on mine that I felt like it's like plenty people could say it's influential and shit. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I know how I feel about it though, but yeah, that project, man, came out with that shit, and a lot of it was like, like that's when I kind of sent like the fucking like this, like the standard, like for the whole kind of stuff that I do, with the skits and shit, with like structuring tapes and like themes and concepts in the tape and shit, and and all at a time, man, Benja and me made Benja and Lane, right? We made that collab tape,
right?
And yeah, like in 2020 we was just like, I guess, like just doing shit, man. We just whatever we felt like, and so like happened so that Eli wasn't fucking with our like that kind of aesthetic or like that kind of sense of style. Like, it wasn't fucking it with too much. Like sometimes that shit piss him off, man. And like he like what I'm saying, like when it comes to like the sound of the shit, and Roy included, like we was in a whole like darker, like more intense feeling, like because we was influenced by a whole soul hop thing, but what we was building, like, it didn't really feel like soul hop no more. You know what I'm saying? It felt like we effectively had like our own niche, so to speak. We had a whole thing going on and stuff. So
like music, basically.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. Like we was doing shit, and but Eli, you know what I'm saying? We always had a difference. In 2020, we was like really talking to each other, bro. Thanks to we're not gonna talk about that nigga. And yeah, like we was just had that whole thing, man. Developing it just got more defined for all of us forward. Like Roy, built the Roy thing. You know what I'm saying? Eli built the Eli thing. Everything in 2020 got very, developed for us.
More defined.
Yeah, more exactly. And we put a bunch of projects in that H2, man. So we make Benja and Lane, bro, and like I said, happened so like I started getting into like this fucking like on SoundCloud, like I peep shit going on. Like I don't not that I'm like dick that much on SoundCloud, but there was this dude, his name Lilac, from like the wave trap, sad trap scene, and I seen like his aesthetics and the whole picture. You know what I'm saying? The whole quality of the pictures, and like the whole like like the whole mood and shit, like a very particular feel to it. Low quality pictures stretched out, and like the whole like vibe that the sound that those dudes was making had, and I was really inspired by that. I was really fucking with it. But a lot of that shit, the stuff I like, I would relay it back to the group chat. Yeah, I'm fucking with this, and how they feel about it and stuff. So Eli, man, this dude, like whenever I put some shit like that, he be on me like, man, this shit is corny, this shit is stupid, like, and, you know what I'm saying? So eventually, I really got into like that whole style. Also, fucking came across that scene core bullshit, bro. Fuck these fucking people, man, yo. But and I also, I really like the whole thing, like the whole emo thing going on, bro. Like you can say like like the stuff I was putting out back then to Cryo Lane, whatever, and like Benja with netajin and shit. Like we was really with that whole emo scene thing. It's funny to look back on, but yeah, like we was really fucking with those aesthetics, and Eli would just look at us like why?
Crazy.
You guys are like why? Like
Get out of here.
like yeah, and so okay, so how did Shallow Dreams come on about? Precisely to piss off Eli. Shallow Dreams was born just because we wanted to piss off Eli. Because we wanted to, I just wanted to troll Eli with that whole like style and shit, but make like hard ass, saying, like really cool beats and shit. And Benjamin, like we really had like something locked in, like we had a very symbiotic nature, so to speak, like very dynamic. It was super easy to collab.
Yeah, when it comes to like the whole picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on that. See, we make Sleepless Nights, right? That's the first tape we make, and you know what I'm saying, like, and then Eli, you know what I'm saying, he hit a tape and he can't deny that shit was fire.
We really birthed the whole aesthetic out of spite, dude. That shit is so crazy.
Yeah, bro.
It's so crazy.
Just to piss somebody off.
Yeah, man. So we came with that, man, and then later I just had the idea, cause like back then this nigga had a black square profile picture, and I was like, saying like some of the titles he put out, it would be like depression and sad shit, and I was like, you know what, this would fit exactly with Shallow Dreams, and this would probably piss off Eli even more. So I invited, I asked like, yo, what's up, man? Like, you want to be part of this like thing we're going on with Benjamin, man? And he was like, yeah, sure. And bro, that was the rest is history. We made Moonless Nights and shit. Yeah.
Amazing, almost.
Yeah, that sort of like birthed the whole entire scene that we know now. And like, there's like the whole, I'm not gonna say, but there's like the whole debate around that one word, but yeah, that's just been like talked about to death in like these chats and shit. But like, speaking of like this scene now, I just wanna like, what's some music that you're into now? Like, not just contemporary shit, or like contemporary shit as well as like just some extra shit that you're into as well, but primarily like contemporary shit, like new people from the scene and whatnot.
From the scene, like we talking beats, right? We talking beats.
Yeah, like beats. Yeah, like beats and shit. But you could also like interject with like what's it called? Like some other shit you're into now. This goes for you as well.
Yeah. Wait, you're asking me? Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm asking both of you.
First off, dude, shout out Shiro, also known as Landmal.
My guy.
That's Mattress Utility Radio.
Exactly.
Bro, I knew that dude like before he started making beats, bro. He's come such a long way. I taught that boy footwork. No, I'm playing. No, I didn't. But yeah, no, he's come such a long ass way. It's beautiful to see progression like that before your eyes. Like, obviously, so this progression.
This guy's like a super genius. It's crazy.
I know. Like, not even just with the footwork stuff. That's such a crazy, like, ambient. I don't even know how to put it. It's just hard to put into words. It's one of those, like, styles that you can't put a label on it, because he does so much shit, but he knows how to do it with like his own spin on it. Like, he has his own style and whatnot. And he hasn't even been doing this for long either. He's only been doing this for like years, because he started making music in like 2021.
Some niggas be prodigies, bro. Like he gifted as fuck, bro. This nigga be making beats on Movie Maker, bro. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. He was making shit on Movie Maker, and like, when he was making shit on like FL Studio, like, that shit was crazy. You just had to be there. You just had to be there, because me and him, we were in this collective, and he would just be like putting out the most insane shit, only to delete it within like seconds. And that
Oh.
did piss me off so much.
I wonder
He was
who that applies to.
No. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's not.
Alright,
Get it.
alright, man.
Get this.
But yeah,
Yeah, man.
who else are y'all into?
Shout out Chiro. Shout out Keiru.
My man, that's my man. I
That's-
love. Yo,
Yeah.
it's about to be
Yeah.
his birthday. Might be already. You know what I'm saying? I got it.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
It is his
Yeah.
birthday. Like
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
It's like
in
tomorrow.
a couple hours.
Right now.
like
My
it's-
man, I love him.
39.
It is
Halo,
his
man, I
birthday.
love that dude, man.
Happy
It's in like
birthday.
39 minutes for me, bro. But yeah,
Shout out you, man. Shout out you, Karu.
Shout out.
Talk
Happy
about him, I'm
birthday, by the way. For when you see this.
Birthday to you.
To you.
Back.
Happy birthday to you.
But yeah. Anybody else or like any particular?
Oh, we gotta mention Mint, dude. That guy's like
Of course.
I
Mention
fucking knew
man.
it. Yeah, man.
like that.
That's a man. He's crazy ass evolution as well. Like I just did an interview with that guy. Like
Craziest shit ever, man.
Make sure you watch
Actually-
it, guys.
Actually, crazy. This dude had the evolution arc.
Exactly.
This shit is a movie. He went from where he started to where he now, man, the shit he do, the shit he's done, the people he's influenced, come on, bro.
Dude, it's
Right.
He's him.
insane.
Man, this
So-
man, man.
exactly.
It's the global landscape of beats, man.
And shout out Hyle. Hyle
Hyle,
also crazy
dude.
as fucking. He in evolution. He's had crazy as fuck. Shout out Doodle. Shout out RIT.
Exactly.
RIT. This nigga mentioned me like 30 times in his interview. I seen that.
Yeah.
Let's mention that.
He also had a crazy evolution. That's like one of the first
Yeah.
among the
Tamon.
first people I collaborated with. Yeah, Tamon too. And just
Yeah,
people
shout out
outside the
Tamon.
scene.
Bro, shout out
my guy
Fussy, man.
Bro. Yeah, shout out Fuzzy.
Fucking Fussy,
shout out.
yo, man. We wouldn't be here without Fussy too, man. Fussy supported so much, man. This dude been supporting us since the Ice Age, really. We gotta mention him, man. Come on. Yo, shout out who man, from the new dudes, man. Let me think. Shout out Gout, man. You know what I'm saying?
Shout
Shout
out
out fucking.
Shout out.
That
Shout
dude's
out
been
the.
around.
He been around, yo. He been around from fucking the lo-fi hip hop days. He been around probably the same time as me or something like that. You know, he been definitely
Yeah.
years in that motherfucker.
Shout out
He's
to
got
And shout out,
as
shout
many this is you.
shout out
Yeah.
to the viewer who's watching this right now. You know who you are. Shout out to
Yeah.
you
Facts.
for watching this. Thank you for watching. And shout out to Patrick Curry on SoundCloud. That guy's awesome.
Eve. Shout out to Eve. Shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to
yo.
you, dude.
and shout out the bitch recording this right now, Vize, man. We
Vize,
gotta clap
yeah.
it up for Vize.
Big ups. Big ups. Big ups. Yes, sir.
And shout out Shizune, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
She's
Shout out
doing it.
Shizune.
Shout out that whole collective. Shout out that whole
And
collective.
shout out,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Shout out
You know,
Frano.
Lily,
Shout out
Frano, shout out Frano, man. Shout out Frano, Francisco.
Shout
Frano,
out.
hermano.
Shout out
Dios lo bendiga.
Ammo 4. Shout out Curtis.
Shout out Emma.
And
Shout out that kid.
Shout out. Yeah.
brother.
Maybe. Yeah. Of course, yeah. Shout out that kid. He definitely contributes. Shout out Baco Martinez. I think that's his name.
Oh yeah, Paco. Shout out Paco.
Yeah.
Shout out
Baco.
Lefty. Shout out Lefty.
Yeah.
Shout out Baco
Shout out
Martinez.
Bruce. Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
Bruce.
I
bro.
really
My
like
guy
his.
Butter. Facts, bro. That's
Yo,
that's one of a kind talent right there. For sure.
Shout out Nakun. Dude, Nakun is the goat.
so we all fucking Nakun is crazy.
How did I forget about
He
him?
influences me the fuck out. Lately, Nakun, shout out Nakun, he's crazy. Stop deleting your fucking beats, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Exactly. I'm tired. I'm tired of
I get it. I get it. I get it though. I can't even say shit. I can't even talk shit. I'll be deleting my shit all the time. But please, man, stop deleting that shit. That shit is gems.
Don't be like me.
And shout out
Be
for Coppers,
responsible.
bro. Come on, shout out for Coppers. Shout out Eyes.
For
Shout out for
Kappas.
Kappas, man.
For Kappas.
I don't know if I already
Shout
said
out to-
shout out Ricky, dumbass. Thank you, Ricky, for existing, Ricky. We love you, Ricky.
MP3 Gangster. Yep.
MP3 gangster,
Shout out.
Monica,
My favorite
The
Bengali.
inspiration.
Yes.
stupid ass nigga. God bless you.
My favorite Bengali, Ricky. Shout out
Shout out
to you,
Corpse
bro.
Wax, dude. Shout out Corpse Wax.
Yeah, shout out that
guy is
motherfucker
out
too.
Corey.
Shout out Coach Wax. Shout out Coach
Yeah,
Wax,
shout
man.
out all the,
Guy is so
all the
crazy.
Shout out
Sekio.
Ammo. Yeah.
Shout out all the Sekio. Shout out all
Shout
of
out all of
Six Eye. Shout out all of Paramount Legion. And shout out my demo guys as well. Those are my guys. Fuck, bro. Bro, fuck it. Shout out my old ass collective TPG. That's not my collective, but shout out them. Shout out TPG, bro. That's the
Shout
shit me and
out.
Churro started on it.
Shout out
Shout
Geo
out.
Basket, dude. That guy's nuts too.
Oh yeah, Windsor?
Oh yeah, he
Shout out
do
Windsor.
the fucking four F cover shit crazy, yeah.
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 Yeah, I know, bro. That
Yeah.
do carry. That do carry.
It's crazy.
Bro. Shout out. Yeah. And speaking of Four Rafa, support that shit, bro. Although all the money is gonna go to Easons for Gaza, I'm still accepting donations through Bandcamp as we speak. I might set up a different donation method because, like, you know, Bandcamp takes the cut, but at the same time, it's still gonna be open for you to buy it. And it's 90 tracks. It's free. Promo out the way. I'm gonna continue the shouts.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out them Brazilian niggas, man. Fucking what? DJ Oda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Juliet,
Joda.
fucking
Julia,
telling all them niggas, man. Fuck,
A-Stars.
man. PH. Yeah. You know, shout out them dudes. They show mad love, yeah.
For real.
Exactly. Fuck, I don't even know who else to shout out. I think we got everybody. That ass.
Pretty much. Shout out to Kills.
I'm scanning my shout out Kills. I'm just
Kills.
scanning. I'm scanning in my mind like who else we got to shout
You
out,
gonna
man.
see-
'Cause, come on.
Shout out Doxa. Shout out Doxa.
Shout out
Dosa,
Dosa,
dude.
shout out Dosa
Shout
and
out
Amos and Amos Dosa. Shout out them niggas. Shout out Dosa
Yeah.
and Amos Dosa. Like.
Shout out Hash Squatch. You feel me? Shout out to that dude.
Oh yeah, shout out
Yo,
Tape
shout-
Dog, man. Barrington, man. We love you, man. And
We
on the
made it.
comeback. On the comeback.
Yeah.
On the please come.
Honda, come home, please. We miss you, man.
We need you. We need you here, man.
We need you now more than ever, dude. And shout out.
The whole industry for this shit. Bro.
Shout out Slice Twice.
This is
Yeah,
Slice.
my guy.
Slice Tice is nuts. At that point, just shout out to Keisha, bro.
So yeah, for real. Creature.
Shout out Blue. Shout out Blue that. Shout out Blue that.
Blue
Shout
that.
out Rokan. Yo, shout out Rokan.
Roar.
Shout out that dumb nigga
Rokan.
Rokan, man. From
Roar
Kazakhstan, man. The dumbest shit ever. Shout out Rokan.
Crazy.
Shout out Ilya 2000, bro.
Yep.
Hell yeah, 2000 with his freak ass titles. What the fuck is wrong with you? Shout out
You
you.
need to
Shout out,
understand
shout out.
it. That's like criminal.
My favorite
Some of that
track
shit
is
is criminal.
Sax.
It is. It is. He's fucked up, but shout out him regardless.
Nah.
Yeah, you a therapist, but shout out though. Shout out.
I mean, shit.
fucked
Shout
up,
out,
man.
shout out Fusco. Shout out Noblins. Shout out Sleepy Eyes. Even though he's not gonna watch this shit. Shout out
Shout
to
out
him.
CSD.
C is Ceased, bro. Shout out Ceased.
Come on. That dude made that fucking Stay Broke bum beat influence the fuck out of me, man. That beat's a classic. That beat's a classic.
Actual.
Shout out
class.
Cease.
That dip, bro.
Hey,
that one
shout
shit
out
he did,
Sailor.
Shout
out Sailor,
dude.
man. We got
Fuck yeah.
Sailor. Thank you for everything you did for me, Sailor. Shout out Sailor.
Shout out.
Shout out Sailor.
Shout out Surya. Shout out him, bro.
Surya. The prodigal son.
This is so many goddamn names, I swear, bro. Shout out to everybody
Hey,
in
man.
Woodward. Fuck it.
Shout out to Ivy.
man.
Shout out NMCMO! Yo!
Dude, Ivy, if you're watching this,
We going
man,
crazy. We're going crazy with the shout outs,
yeah.
man.
if you're watching this, man, I'm sorry for declining your collab like 8 years ago, man. I've changed my mind. Let's hit me up right now on SoundCloud/netajin.com.
Bro. Bro, you know, bro, that man's been like fucking MIA for ages now. You should have taken your time.
Never
Had
going
that shit,
back.
bro.
Never going back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
shout
the
out.
last thing he posted?
I have no idea actually.
But yeah, shout out to everybody, bro. All of y'all are influences, like to whether like one person, like two people, or like fucking multiple people. All of you guys are like influences to everybody. Either way, just like remember that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Stop. Stop.
My bad.
Nah, but yo, all the
Just-
like. I'm assuming we got everybody. I'm assuming we shouted out everybody we had to shout out. So like, I'm gonna put that to the side. And if we didn't shout you out, we sincerely apologize. But yo, I just want to know, like,
if I forgot, my bad. Shout out you, bro.
nah, but yo, I just want to know, like, since we're getting like near the end of the interview, what are like some upcoming projects that y'all have, or like any side projects, any new collaborations or shit? Just like any new music from y'all.
Yeah, or you got anything, Benja?
I'll be making a re-release in Bandcamp Friday.
Yeah. Bandcamp Friday, Inspector dropping on Bandcamp Friday because that's his birthday. I'm dropping that day too.
Thanks.
Fucking Mint and Meek tape coming soon. Blame Malparida, Trey Songs, Maya and Blixty Flips. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out Kaza. Definitely. Yeah, shout out Kaza.
Yo, shout out. Shout out to her.
Yeah, facts.
So much shit dropping right now, bro. By the time like this interview drops,
Roy, if you're watching this, let's work on those tracks, man. Let's do it right now. Not saying anything. It's a scary surprise. Scary surprise.
I'm surprised.
I gotta be mysterious about it.
Shout out Kerry once again because I love him.
Exactly.
Shout out you, man. Shout out infinite shout outs. Gotta wish him happy birthday in like about 30 minutes, man.
Yeah, since you shouted her out, Akana,
Everybody.
I would not be here. I would not be here if it weren't for her. Real shit. That's like that's one of the reasons I make this shit I do now. I just wanted to say that. You know, this shit isn't about me. I just wanted to say that. But yeah.
Shout out you and
Everybody watching this video, everybody watching this interview. Wish happy birthday to my man. Wish happy birthday to my man Kaylin, bro. My man Kerry, you gotta. It's my petition. That's all I ask. Alright. Thank you.
Okay, I'll give you guys a new tape for every time you wish him a happy birthday.
Exactly. Facts. Hit that out.
Exactly.
Hit that out.
Exactly, bro. We got like fucking 4 birthdays in December, bro. You gotta wish. Like, out of all the people that have like birthdays, you gotta wish that man a happy birthday. For my mother.
Yeah.
I guess that's about it for this interview, bro. Thank y'all for hopping on. This shit is
Thank you, bro.
This shit is history. Cause you don't see this shit happen like every day. I'm just saying.
Thank you for proposing
got 2
this idea, dude.
No, this wasn't my idea. This is all. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
I only provided the.
For proposing this idea.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, nah. Thank y'all for hopping on. Thank you for allowing me to ask y'all these questions. Thank you to Vize for recording this interview. This piece of history right here. I love y'all.
Fuck you, Vice.
Fuck you.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Shout out, Vice.
No
I love you, Vice. I love you,
Vice,
Vice.
we
I love you so much, Vice.
I love you too. I love you too, bro. Love you
Love
too,
you ever.
Vize. But yeah.
Love you ever.
Post it
Man.
up. But yeah, that's about it, y'all. I'm gonna see y'all next. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. Peace.
Goodbye,
Peace
guys.
out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.